answer your first question is, our point here is pretty simple. If your cloud is down, it affects on any computer you're on, because most people of what they are doing, you're using webmail, whether from your other machine or on Chrome OS, right? And so that is important to understand. I think when people talk about reliability of cloud services, what I would like to see is a comparison of the reliability of the cloud versus what they actually have today. And I think I think that's the right comparison to make. I think the cloud will compare very, very favorably in those scenarios as well. The third is in terms of trust and so on. I think it's really important that users have choice. At a high level, we are fully open, so everything we do there is transparent to at least developers who can educate users about what's happening. The second is, we let users are always in control. You can decide what to do. You can decide whether to buy a machine. Like today, you use webmail. When you use webmail, your email is stored in the cloud, but it's a decision users make. So that's the right way to think about it. So.
Hi, Phil Keys of Nikkei Electronics again. A couple questions on, first of all, on the data syncing of actually the data that's cached by Google Chrome OS. Is that also open, or is Google going to be the only one that will actually host that data in the cloud? Is the first question. And the second question is regarding the signature process. Is that something that Google will be in charge of, and will there be a charge for that?
Yeah, I can talk about the signature stuff. So the signature stuff is based on open algorithms that have been out there for a while, and our plan is to open source that whole thing as well. So, and we want that sort of review by the security community. We want them to poke at it and help us assure that it is secure. It is something where we're using it to secure our auto update system. So we would sign the binaries at Google for the Chrome OS, executables themselves and distribute them. So we'd sign them here. There isn't any signing that we're contemplating for the web applications users would run on the machine, right? So you don't need to run a signed version of Facebook or anything like that. Certainly, we wouldn't want to do that.
I want to take a chance. Sergey has dropped by, so let's invite him for the Q&A as well. Let me grab a chair.
Hi, everyone. I wasn't expecting to participate in the Q&A, but now that I called up, I guess I'm in the hot seat.
So, next question.
Hi, my name is Christian Grant. I know that one of the it runs JavaScript really well, the new Chrome OS, and I was wondering, or some browsers nowadays they support Java, and if your Chrome OS at one point in the future would support, let's say, Java in one way, if there's running let's say a Dalvik virtual machine, then in principle you could run Android apps, right, on the Chrome OS. Do you see that totally unimpossible? I guess it's more a suggestion, or would it make sense at some point in the future?
So, it's a good suggestion. Technically, there's nothing limiting a lot of what you're talking about. We are focused on creating the use case by which everything is a web application, so that's what we are focused on today. In addition to the HTML, JavaScript, native client is an area we have talked about, but hopefully there are more interesting things we can do in the future.
John Stokes. So Dell has a laptop that's a full-size laptop, but then it has a small separate subsystem with an ARM processor and a chunk of flash in it, so that you can boot to this Instant On OS. This is kind of popular to make these Linux-based Instant On OSs that are complementary to like a full Windows install, stuff like this. Do you guys have any plans to be like a second OS, like an Instant Boot OS, on a more full-featured laptop with magnetic media?
No, we're very focused on the Chrome OS thing. So the way I think about it is we're trying to make the core base operating system just boot wicked fast, right? Get you on the web as quickly as possible. So we're not spending a lot of effort on things like dual boot or multiple types of processors in the same system. We're really focused on making a lean and mean netbook that runs the web really well.
Thanks.
And just Ben Parr, Mashable, so no drivers, that type of thing. So I guess especially I just want to dig deeper in. So this thing's not going to be able to run printers, or like how this deeper with using devices, because we have so many different devices that we use, everything from flip cameras to our printers. How is it going to handle it, and how is it going to handle it in the future?
So we plan, all standard keyboard, mice, and anything which identifies itself as a storage device, like most cameras do, etc., will work. You saw in the demo, we plugged in a Droid phone, and it worked. In terms of printing, We are taking an innovative approach to printing. We will have a lot more to share about it next year. Yes, Chrome OS will print, and we are working to make that possible.
Thanks.
So any other questions? Great. Oh.
So about it, when you introduced Chrome, I think a lot of it was putting a stake in the ground and inviting the community to come and talk to you and become involved with your upstream open source providers. I see this as I see Chrome OS as another opportunity to do that. You're very early on. Can you talk a little bit about how you hope, by releasing Chrome OS today, the community of hardware vendors, just as you'd have to with ARM processors and such, and all the things that have happened in Android and Chrome, how do you hope this community blooms out of Chrome OS and comes together to kind of move it forward if you look towards release in a year?
Yeah, great question. I mean, that's why we're here today, is we're really excited to get the open source development community involved in this. And as you say, there's two sides of that. One is independent open source developers out there who just want to help us build a great operating system. We're delighted to get them involved, and also excited to see some of the technology that we make go out and help other projects. So we're very serious about upstreaming what we do and then downstreaming to benefit from other things the community's making. On the hardware processor component vendor side, absolutely. This makes it very much easier for us to work with hardware vendors and processor vendors, and lets them help get stuff running on their systems, and we're very excited about that. So those are some of the main reasons we're here today, is to get this code out there in the open and start collaborating.
Sergey, there was some discussion on an earlier slide about real-time notifications on every page. So do you have any comments on that?
Oh, now you're grilling me because I wasn't here. The question was, what about real-time notifications on every page? I think we definitely need support for real-time notifications in the browser, and in particular in Chrome OS. I mean, just even today, you guys might use Gmail chat in your Gmail, but if your browser is off, then you don't get alerted. Somebody can't pop up a little widget, and I don't think that's a good reason to not have chat be a web app. It's just capability that's today missing from the browser, and hopefully we can introduce that into the browser as well as Chrome OS.
There is a W3C standard that's being discussed in the working groups right now called the Notification API, and we have an implementation of that we're working on in Chrome, and it'll be a big part of Chrome OS.
I imagine that Wave would be a customer of that for sure.
Exactly. Great.
Carsten, Star Magazine again, since we have Sergey now. Sorry. What is Chrome's strategic position for Google? There's often, a war of the clouds being declared, and Google going head-to-head with Microsoft. So now you're even making your own laptop, so to speak.
Well, the operating system for it. We really, call us dumb businessmen, but we really focus on user needs rather than, think about strategies relative to other companies and whatnot. And I think there's a real user need to be able to use computers easily. These netbooks are now, $300 or $400, really easy to buy one. You could buy 5 to put around your house. But if you did it today, there's no way you could manage them, right? I mean, the overhead of managing the software on all of them would be way too high. We believe that the web platform is a much simpler way, where the machines are essentially kind of stateless, more cache-like, and we think can still be performant, and yet much easier and simpler for individuals to use. So I think since that's a very important need in the market right now, that's what we're trying to fill.
With that, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate your time and look forward to talking more about this. Thanks.